France is planning to deploy nuclear weapons in Britain and other European countries, President Emmanuel Macron has said. Overshadowed by the war with Iran, Macron gave a speech in Brittany this weekend, saying he had rearmed France and would be increasing the country's nuclear stockpile. Macron said he had agreed to work with the UK, Germany, Poland, France and other European countries on spreading France's weapons over the continent. The deterrent would not be shared with those countries, however, with Macron declaring the use of them would be at the sole discretion of the French president.
I have ordered an increase in the number of nuclear warheads in our arsenal. To put an end to any speculation, we will no longer communicate on the figures of our nuclear arsenal, contrary to what may have been the case in the past. To be free, one must be feared, and to be feared, one must be powerful. This increase in our nuclear arsenal attests to this. France will always decide alone what crosses the nuclear threshold, whilst integrating the interests of its allies into its considerations. Forward deterrence is a progressive approach. It offers, first of all, the possibility for partners to participate in deterrence exercises. This may also involve signalling, including beyond our borders, or the conventional participation of allied forces in our nuclear activities. It may, depending on circumstances, lead to the development of elements of our strategic force with our allies.
Despite the UK already having its own nuclear deterrent, which the government announced it would be expanding last year, the reports gave rise to fears it could play host to weapons it has no control over, owned by a government it regularly clashes with over immigration and Brexit. While it's more likely the nuclear aircraft will be stationed in countries without a deterrent who have asked to be shielded under the French umbrella, notably Germany and Poland, the extent to which the UK will cooperate is unclear. Last year, Britain and France signed the Northwood Cooperation Agreement, which stated both countries' nuclear forces were independent, but could be coordinated. Macron and Sir Keir Starmer pledged to work closer than ever before on nuclear deterrence during the president's state visit last July. Senior British military officials attended a strategic Air Force exercise this winter for the first time. Calling his advanced plans an archipelago of force, Macron said to be free, one needs to be feared. He said France's plans will operate outside of NATO, though have the approval of the US. Britain's plans to buy 12 American-built F-35A fighter jets capable of carrying nuclear weapons to complement its submarine-based weapons. The move would restore a nuclear strike role to the RAF for the first time since the Cold War. Britain currently has 255 nuclear weapons. France said it would stop disclosing the amount of nuclear warheads in its possession, and there would be, quote, no sharing of the ultimate decision, its planning or its implementation with the countries participating in the plan.
Les premières étapes de la coopération commenceront dès cette année.
The first stages of cooperation will begin this year and may include visits to strategic sites and joint exercises. From now on, other countries want to play a part. And beyond our British and German partners and friends already mentioned, Poland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Greece, Sweden and Denmark will join it. This is a genuine strategic convergence between our countries to give real depth to the defence of our continent. As for our American allies, who themselves are modernising their arsenal, they have played since 1945 and will continue to play a key role in the defence of Europe. We are grateful to them for this, and in terms of deterrence, they participate directly in our protection with NATO's nuclear mission. But their recent national security and defence strategy shows a rearrangement of American priorities and a strong encouragement for Europe to take more direct care of its own security.
A government spokesperson said, "We welcome the proposal set out by President Macron to cooperate more closely with allies on nuclear issues. The UK and France are both resolved to deter threats against Europe and will not be intimidated by Russian nuclear rhetoric. The UK's nuclear deterrent remains declared to the defence of NATO and our NATO allies. Our mutual collaboration with France strengthens our existing commitments to our allies in an uncertain and dangerous world." Nick Dunning, GB News.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, Tally Money is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of Tally Money, Cameron Parry. What is Tally Money?
Well, at Tally Money, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from Tally Money. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
Good evening. It's non-stop humiliation under Sir Keir Starmer. Starmer is currently relying on France to defend our military bases in Cyprus. A British RAF base in Cyprus was attacked by Iran's proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon. Starmer did nothing. He just called for de-escalation. Can you fathom being led by someone that weak? Imagine being on a night out with him and someone walks up and pours a glass of wine over his wife's head and he just says, "Oh, we need to de-escalate this situation, don't we?" It's pathetic. I mean, after the British base in Cyprus was attacked, Emmanuel Macron said that he's sending his flagship aircraft carrier. France is also expected to send Horizon-class and Frem-class frigates, a nuclear-powered attack submarine, 2 fuel supply ships, and up to 40 aircraft. And it's not just Macron. Yes, the mighty Greek armed forces are also going to send 4 fighter jets and 2 frigates to Cyprus. Starmer is so weak that he's relying on the old cheese-eating surrender monkeys to protect us from the terrorists. I mean, the rumour this morning was that he might send one of our own ships, HMS Duncan, but it would take a whole week to get to Cyprus. Pathetic. We have 6 Type 45 destroyers, apparently. There are 3 of them that are currently in for maintenance, so can't be used. 1 will take several days to get ready. Apparently, only HMS Duncan and another one called HMS Dragon are ready to go. At the moment, the UK has no ability to defend Cyprus against ballistic missile attacks. And it was only at 4:10 this afternoon that Starmer finally said this: "I've just spoken to the president of Cyprus to let him know that we are sending helicopters with counter-drone capabilities and HMS Dragon is being deployed. We will always act in the interest of the UK and our allies." Well, better late than never. I mean, the whole thing could have been over by now. All Starmer seems to care about at the moment is Britain's Muslim community, the Iranian regime and international human rights lawyers knowing that he's done absolutely nothing to the Ayatollah.
Allahu Akbar man la manzar, Allahu Akbar, inshallah yamal shak.
All he says now, and we're going to play you this clip in the next hour, it's hilarious, some of this stuff, all he keeps saying is Britain played no role in these attacks. Britain played no role in these. Like, he's proud of it. Most people would be queuing up to take credit for slotting the Ayatollah. Not our Prime Minister. He wants everyone to know he had nothing to do with it. Starmer is desperate to give the Chagos Islands away and make us pay for the privilege. He's basically handed control of Gibraltar to the Spanish without a shot being fired. He seems much more keen on prosecuting our own military than deploying them, and it doesn't seem to be his natural instinct to do anything to retaliate when a jihadi regime attacks our sovereign territory. The eyes of the world are looking at how each country is responding to the biggest global crisis of modern times. And until this afternoon, our leader was relying solely on the French for our national security. Remarkable. Oh, now this has happened. Iran's Revolutionary Guard are apparently plotting to rise up and do domestic jihad right here in Britain. And Starmer still won't prescribe them as a terrorist group. Honestly, whose side is this bloke on? Before I get to my panel, let's get some breaking news lines for you now from GB News'